Hello, everybody. Welcome back to You've Been Joshed with Josh. I am your host, Josh. It's episode 6. Holy crap, 6 weeks. It's a lot. It's a lot of episodes. I was thinking about that today. I was like, wow, I'm gonna record this episode, and it's gonna be the 6th one. And I was really having a hard time figuring out what I wanted to do for this episode. I wrote down a couple things this week because I always write down things that I want to talk about. But then, things happen and then you don't know what to talk about because you're like, do I really want to talk about this? Or is this really what I want to discuss this week? Or, but last night, I was playing the new game on stream called Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy. And I'm just having such a good time with that game. Like, I can't express to you enough the pure joy that I'm getting out of the game. I'm a huge Marvel fan. And then when they were like, "Oh, we're coming out with a Guardians of the Galaxy game where you can play as the whole team and you're the Star-Lord," I was like, "No, sign me up!" I was like, "Sign me up for that!" And I pre-ordered it, and I've been playing it, and it is just exceeding every expectation. I am loving it so fucking much. I love it so much, and it really made me think about just like the process from when I was a kid to now of like my history with video games and like how much my taste for video games have grown over the time that I've been alive. And so I kind of wanted to reminisce about just like video games and talk about like how I got started in video games and what led me to now and how I got into streaming because of that and whatnot. So I want to talk about that. And I was like, hey, there's a perfect topic. Boom, done. Some weeks I have plenty to talk about and it just happens. And then some weeks I'm like, I don't know. But this one just like popped up at the last minute. I was like, perfect. Thank God. But no, I play video games for money. There's that whole meme of like, oh, so you play video games and you make money? And it's like, yeah, I do. It's entertainment. Like that you watch people run around and kick balls on a field and throw balls and just hold balls and touch balls and stuff. And they get paid so fucking much because it's entertaining to watch. It's entertaining to watch people touch balls. It is. It's a competitive sport. Like balls are just in everybody's hands at all times. That's just the way that culture has taken us over thousands of years that we've been here. Like, like we've been infatuated with throwing and touching balls forever with a bunch of other people. Like touching balls with other people. Like that's just how it is, and I used to play sports a lot. I love Ultimate Frisbee. That's like if anyone's like, hey, you want to play Ultimate Frisbee? I'm like, fuck yes, sign me up, of course. And I've talked about rollerblading so many fucking times. I love rollerblading. But like, I never thought that I would be streaming. But I'm happy that I'm here, and I'm happy that I can. It's not a great living like it is. I'm making bare fucking minimum, but I'm having the best time of my life. Like that's the point. Like that's why people stream. At least it should be why people stream. I'm hoping people are streaming because they like it, not for the money. Because God knows it takes a lot of time and effort and patience to get to a point where you can make a lot of money. I've always loved video games, and now I can do it as a job, which is fucking sick. It gives you an escape, like I feel like that's all people do. Any sort of entertainment, like you watch a movie or you watch a TV show or you watch sports and stuff as entertainment to take your mind off of just daily life. And video games have always been that for me. It's either that, and when I was younger, it was video games and theater. I did theater and acting and stuff like that, and that would always get me. That would be my escape. But as the years progressed, it's moved towards more just video game. It makes you feel like you're someone else, and you have like a sense of control. It's like also a sense of control there because like you're controlling the character. You feel like you're in their shoes and you're doing these crazy impossible things, and it's like you're in a movie basically. That's how I've always been a movie buff, and I feel like I've always kind of gravitated more towards games that are based on movies because I wanted to be associated with that. but I'll get into that later. The first games that I remember playing as a kid was like on the desktop, like on the old Windows desktop. I remember way back when I was like fucking, I don't know, like 6, 5, 6, something like that. Back when I lived in Mechanicsburg, PA, they drop a wrench at New Year's. Fucking sick as shit. My dad had a computer. It was the desktop. It was the only thing we had, and I played solitaire, pinball, like all the free games that came on there. You know, like Minesweeper. Fuck yeah. And they also had. I don't know why this was on. I need to figure out what it was because I really want to know. I don't know the name of it. It was like an old sci-fi alien-esque shooting game, but it was only a demo on the desktop, and I would play that over and over and over again. It was just the first level. You run down this giant hall into this open field, you shoot aliens, you get to the other thing, you get a gem, and then it's over. And that's it. And I would play that over and over and over and over again. I was just like, I'm so cool, you know. um but then as I got over, I remember I was homeschooled growing up, and for a short period of time, my best friend JP was homeschooled as well, and his mom and my mom started a business together where they would teach like private lessons and tutor and stuff. And so during the day, my mom and his mom would be there, and we would be there as well because we would be doing our homework just at their place of work. And they had this demo console. I don't know what it was. I don't know what it was, but it just had like 8 games that were like 3 levels of the game. It was like it was a console, but it only had demos on it. You can't play any other games on it. Or maybe I'm mistaken. Again, this was a long time ago. Maybe I'm mistaken, and maybe it was a disc that we had in there that was a demo disc. I don't know. I don't think it was a disc either. I think it was a cartridge at the time. I don't even think we had fucking discs. That was VHS era. But it had like Rayman, Sonic, and like a few other ones. And JP and I, after we got done with our stuff, would just sit there and replay those demos constantly, like over and over and over and over and over and over. And it was just, I always remember that. And also in that building, it was called the Educational Breakthrough. There was like, I think it was like an accountant firm or something like below us in that building that they had. And we went down in the hallway to go down the stairs to that other building, that other part of the building. There was a soda machine, and it was like 55 cents for a can of soda. But this vending machine, I've never seen any other vending machine that had this. They had vanilla Coke. You guys know that, like, vanilla Coke? It was sick. And JP and I would always scrounge up change and bring it so that way we could get a vanilla Coke after we finished our homework and play video games with a vanilla Coke. And it was sick. 55 cents, baby. I remember that to a T. But also, I would go to his house, and we would play on his GameCube. And I remember so many memories of us watching Teen Titans. We would watch fucking just Nickelodeon, basically, because I didn't have cable. So I would watch. I just remember Teen Titans was like a big one. Oh, and Avatar: The Last Airbender. Oh yeah, fucking when that was still out. We would watch that together, and when we would play, I remember he had Shrek 2. That was fucking fun. The multiplayer Shrek 2. That was so cool. I bet if I played it now, it would not be as cool as I remember it being, but you know how it is. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. That was a fun game. They did a really good job with that. And then he also had Disney's Extreme Skate Adventure. Yeah, it was at the time they had like it was like the Tony Hawk era where a bunch of like skating games were out, and Disney wanted to hop on that ride. So Disney and I think like EA Games or something like that had like a competition for like young skaters, and the 2 people who won, or like the 6 people who won the tournament or whatever, they got character models in the game that you could play. And so it was like this big thing. But it was all Disney esque related. So they have like Toy Story, Tarzan, what were the other ones? Toy Story, Tarzan, Lion King, and I think there was one other, but I don't know. Toy Story, Lion King, and yeah, Toy Story, Lion King. What was the other one? Oh, Tarzan. Yeah, I think it was just those three. If I'm not mistaken, I think it might have just been those three, but each one had like 3 different levels that you could go on, and you could play as like Jesse, Woody, Buzz Lightyear. I think you could play as Zurg if you unlocked him. And then they had, of course, like Tarzan as a kid, his gorilla friend, the elephant, and then Jane. And then for Lion King, it was like Simba, Sala, and then it was like Timon and Pumbaa on one. And then I think it was like a hyena or something that you could play as. I don't remember, but it was sick as fuck. And then you can make your own character and like go around. And I remember him and I would play that constantly. I watched someone review it. I watched a couple people review games. There's some people that I watch on YouTube who review games, and I think it's called. His name is One-Eyed Jack. Let me look. One-Eyed Jack. Square-Eyed Jack. Okay, it was Square-Eyed Jack. Please forgive me if you're listening to this, my friend, Square-Eyed Jack on YouTube game review. Square-Eyed Jack. I'm sorry, I messed up your name. Not One-Eyed Jack. Square-Eyed Jack. I've been following him for a while, but he does game reviews on like old video games and reviews them now and like ranks the levels and whatnot. But like 2 weeks ago, he did a review on Disney's Extreme Skate Adventure, and it was just like so nostalgic to watch that because I was like, oh my god, like you're playing it. Like I played that all the time. And it had a sick ass. Oh my god. It had a sick ass soundtrack, and it like DMCA things were not like a thing back then because streaming wasn't a thing. So like you couldn't do it now because all of the music on there is copyrighted. They had an entire playlist of just like Smash Mouth. I think it was like what was it, like Little Romeo was on there. Like it was a sick ass soundtrack. But then of course they had like some Disney music in there. It was interesting. It was a really interesting game. But we'd always play that, and it was so much fun. I even remember I got it on my PS2 once I got that, which we'll get into that as we're moving along in the history of my video game ownage. But we would play that for a while, and then I remember I think it was right in the beginning of middle school. So it was before I moved to Gettysburg. I got a Game Boy Advanced SP and a DS Lite from a friend, and that became my whole thing. It was fucking Pokemon non-stop. Pokemon all the time. Pokemon Red, Pokemon Green, and Pokemon Emerald, and then I had Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire as well, and I'd play those constantly all the fucking time. Like wherever I go, I would have that with me and I'd be playing. And then the DS Lite, I had like Nintendogs because that was fucking sick. That game was sick. You can't tell me that game was not cool. Nintendogs and Animal Crossing. Yeah, Animal Crossing, the OG. I'd play that all the time. And like Mario and those games, Mario Kart, like all of that, like that was like when I like started like really falling in love with video games, and I like started playing them more frequently. But I just remember there were so many late nights where I'd stay up till like 4 a.m. just laying in my bed with the LED light fucking lit up, and I had this Pokemon Emerald guidebook that I would just study up on, and I would just read it constantly and like make sure that I was doing the proper things for my Pokemon and getting the best out of my game playthrough to become the best Pokemon master this side of Catan. Yes. So good. So good. So fucking good. But then, and this is when things take the turn. When I turned 13, a big teenager, I had one request, one birthday gift that I wanted, more than anything else. And that was a PS2 because my mom was tutoring and nannying this family, and their son had a PS2, the big thick one, and I just played that constantly. And I loved PlayStation. I loved the games that they had. I loved the controllers, loved everything about it. And I knew I wanted one. And so my grandfather bought me one. It was a Slim. I remember back then it was like, God, it was like $80. Like, it wasn't even that much, like comparable to like things now. He got me an extra controller, an SD card, not an SD card, just a memory stick, a memory card for it. And I got 4 games, and I remember what they are right now. Like I wrote it down because I remember exactly what games I got. I got Star Wars, the first one, Lego Star Wars, the 1 through 3. This is before they had the complete saga or whatever. I had Lego Star Wars 1 through 3. And then I got the Lego Star Wars 4 to 6. I got Cars, which sounds stupid, but honestly, that old game, the OG, like PlayStation 2 Cars, you could free roam around that like desert town and find collectibles and drive over things and jump things. It was sick as fuck. It was so cool. I'm not really into racing games, but I loved Owen Wilson. So I was like, hell yeah. I got Cars, and I got like Barnyard Animals. I don't know if you guys remember that movie, the one where they have their fucking udders just on the front and they just jiggle. It's so fucking disturbing to think back on now. But I got that game as well because they were cheap, and I played those constantly. I remember the Lego Star Wars games were like my thing. I just constantly played them. And this is at the same time that I was playing like Pokemon and Mario and like fucking Animal Crossing and stuff like that. It was at the same time. And my world at that time was just get homework done, go outside. And this was when I moved to Gettysburg. Get homework done, go outside, rollerblade, come back in, play video games, go back outside, rollerblade, and then come back in for dinner, and then eat, and then go upstairs, watch a movie while playing video games on my DS or my Game Boy, and then go to bed. And it was just a rinse, cycle, repeat constantly. I loved them. I played it all the time. And then I found Ty the Tasmanian Tiger and Ty the Tasmanian Tiger 2. It's from Chrome Studios. It's about Ty, a Tasmanian tiger, who throws boomerangs. It was just an old 3D platformer. Came out after Spyro and Crash Bandicoot and stuff like that. And it was like the next best thing, they were saying. And it's from the small Australian company called Chrome Studios. And it was my obsession. I loved that game. I have played Ty the Tasmanian Tiger and Ty the Tasmanian Tiger 2 more times than I can count. I shit you not. I've played through both of those games so many times. I still have 2 copies of Ty the Tasmanian Tiger. Two, because I didn't know if the one was going to purchase or not. And so I bought 2 to make sure I had it because I wanted it. The original PS2, and then I have the Ty the Tasmanian Tiger 2 on PS2 as well. And I love those games. They just did remasters recently of the first one and now the second. And I wasn't able to find out about the first one until after it happened. I got it. I was one of the first people to platinum the game and like get all the achievements on it. And then the Ty the Tasmanian Tiger 2 just came out. I haven't platinumed it. I was going to do it, but some people got it early for some reason. I don't remember. It didn't matter at the time, so like I don't remember exactly what happened, but I wasn't able to get the platinum right away. So I got I just forgot about the platinum. I haven't platinumed yet because I want to do like a playthrough just on my own and not rushing and just enjoy the nostalgia of it. But I'm in the credits of that one because I jumped on that Kickstarter because I wanted to support them because they brought so much joy to my childhood through those games, and I love them. So shout out Chrome Studios. I love what you're doing. I really hope you're remastering the 3rd one, and I really hope you come out with a 5th game like you've been talking about, because if you do, oh, your boy's gonna be so fucking happy. Such a good series. Really campy, but really good. Completely just in the outback of Australia. I love it. And you just throw boomerangs, man. You throw boomerangs that blow up and have infrared and shit. Like, why wouldn't you want to do that? It's fucking sick as shit. But that like, I just played those over and over and over again, and I love them. Ty is always going to be like one of my favorite video games ever. Um, but as I grew older and I got into high school, my friends in high school had an Xbox, and I started playing Skyrim because I really liked the idea of that, and I started playing it constantly. And once I had enough money, I bought a PS3 off of someone because I remember I had to sell my PS2 right before I moved to help with moving and getting some things for the move and all that, which sucks, but it is what it is. And then I had enough money to buy a PS3, so I got on PS3, and I just played Skyrim nonstop. Just Skyrim the entire time, just constantly, just Skyrim every day, every day, every possible character, all the way through, just constantly. I love that game. I will forever love Skyrim. It holds a special place in my heart. It just feels so epic playing that game. And they're actually this year they're coming out with the 10-year anniversary, and I'm hoping that it'll have like updated stuff because they do. I'm definitely going to stream that. I think it'd be really fun to stream another playthrough of that game. But putting that aside, the other game I used to play was Star Wars: The Force Unleashed on PS2, as well as the PS3. I got on PS3 to replay it, and the PS3 version sucks ass. I cannot explain to you how much they try to update. They updated the graphics at the loss of the functionality of the game, because the game is completely different in the PS3 comparable to PS2. The PS2 version was a masterpiece. I loved that. The PS3 version is trash. Same game, just the way that they have the mechanics and the way they have the camera and everything is just so bad. The graphics look better 100%, but it's not as good. But that's a really good game. But I got the PS3, I played Skyrim, and I did that for a while, and I just constantly played Skyrim forever and ever and ever. But then as my junior year came around, I got very engrossed in theater, very engrossed in school and working, and then I started getting prepped and ready to do the juice bar after I graduated. So all my time was facilitated towards that. I hardly ever played video games. I would just watch movies or hop on a TV show or something at the end of the night. I wouldn't play video games. And so it just became I used my PS3 for movies basically. I didn't really play video games, and I hadn't played a new video game in like 3 years. And then after the juice bar closed and I finished that up, and I started working more and I had a little more time on my plate, I had enough money to buy a PS4, and I saw that they had a Spider-Man game, and I love Marvel, and I love the old Spider-Man games, the Tobey Maguire era. I played Spider-Man 3 constantly, the open world one that they had. Oh, that and the Hulk game, the Incredible Hulk game, was really sick. But I saw that they had a bundle at Walmart for PS4 with 1 terabyte of storage, and it came with the Marvel Spider-Man game. And at the time I was working at Walmart, so during their Black Friday sale, I got like, I think it's like 40% off or something they give you, the workers or whatnot. It was insane. I got a TV. I got a fucking brand new flat screen TV and the PlayStation. And the PlayStation was like $140 comparable to like $250 it was, or whatever the fuck it was. So it was a great deal. And I got it, and I played Spider-Man, Marvel Spider-Man from Insomniac Games, and it blew my mind. I sat there and played that game 4 times over in a month's time. Platinumed it, got 100% in the game, and just I lived that game. It was so good. I couldn't believe, because it'd been so long, and at that time graphics jumped so drastically over those few years, that from my playing PS3 to playing PS4, it was such a huge difference in graphics that I was just so blown away. I was just like, holy shit. And then it restarted my fucking love for video games, and it just kept going. And I became more a little more than like a casual gamer. I just fucking like started playing everything I can get my hands on, and it was great. Like I was playing a bunch of games that I normally wouldn't play, and going from there. And I remember when Joy and I started living together, once we started dating and then we lived together, I realized that I really liked getting the achievements in the game, which started with Spider-Man, because it was like a challenge for me, and it gave me something to do, and I really liked that. Um, and so I started trophy hunting. And if anybody doesn't know what trophy hunting is, it's specific to PlayStation, because PlayStation is my baby. I love PlayStation so much. Sony, I love you. Um, no, I like Xbox too. I prefer Sony. Um, don't witch hunt, please. Uh, Trophy hunting is basically where you get all of the achievements in the game. Where in PlayStation, it's trophies that you get from doing achievements. In Xbox, it's achievements. Um, but it is achievement hunting. Like you're doing challenges in the game that are designated by the people who made the game, and if you do them, the trophy will pop or the achievement will pop, and you get that trophy. And if you get all of them in the game that they have set aside, there is a big one. For PlayStation, it's called Platinum. It's a Platinum trophy, and that pops once you get all the other trophies. It's kind of like hey, you completed the game. They have a whole leveling system on PlayStation of how much points you get per trophy, how much you get per game, and it's all dependent on a bunch of different factors. But I just started trophying like crazy, and I really really liked it, and I set aside some time for myself, that I was like, hey, all I do is work. uh, what I want to do is I want to get 100 platinums by the end of this year. This was back in, I think, 20. Oh God, it was the end of 2019, right before COVID start. Jesus. And I was like, I'm gonna get 100 platinums because I really like playing these games. I really like getting platinums, and I really like trophy hunting. So I'm gonna do it. It gives me something to do, And so I put that aside for me, and then COVID started, and work got crazy. And then we were sent home, and everything closed. And during that period of time when we were in lockdown, I just played video games every day, all day, late into the night with JP. I put so many hours into a bunch of games. I got like 60 some platinums in like a 3-month period. I was like going hard. And during that time, I realized that I loved playing video games. And because of like my background with theater and stuff, I really like making people laugh and the whole entertainment aspect of it. And I used to watch YouTube all the time. I didn't really do Twitch that much. And I think I've talked about this before, but during that time, I realized that Twitch might be an outlet for me. So I started looking into that, and that's where that came to be. Like, it led to me streaming because trophy hunting was like, oh, I could stream me trophy hunting because it'll give me something to do while I'm trophy hunting, get my mind off it. People can enjoy it, and it led to what it is now. But with starting stream, I didn't get to do all 100 platinums because then streaming became my whole thing, and I started playing games and not worrying about the trophies and whatnot and just enjoying myself, which is good. But I still want to get 100 platinums. And a couple days ago, I got my 99th platinum. And so now I just need one more and I get 100. And even though it's been 2 years, we didn't expect COVID to happen. We didn't expect a lot of things to happen. I didn't think I'd be streaming. But here we are. Here we are. And I'm excited, and it's a huge milestone for me to get that 100 platinum. So I'm planning by the end of this week to have that 100th plat and just be like, yes, I did it. I fucking did it. But toe in toe with the leading streaming, and I have that to thank for trophy hunting. I have trophy hunting for PlayStation to thank for finding what I like in video games. Because with trophy hunting, you can literally play anything. A lot of games have trophies. Some of them don't, but they have like small trophies that some don't have platinums, but some have trophies. Like some games don't have a platinum. There's only like 5 trophies in it, but you can get those and complete the game and whatnot. And I have Troviani and thank for showing me some sick ass games that I would have never played otherwise. Because there's a lot of free games that you can get that are really shitty, but they actually turn out to be really fun or really really well thought out, or there's a great story. And I wanted to list off some. So any of my streamer friends or any of my gaming friends, get your notepads ready because I'm about to drop some games that I think you guys should look at, because I really enjoyed them and there was a pleasant surprise. But let's go through the funny ones. Let's go through the funny ones. My Name Is Mayo. That game, there's two of them now because they just came out with a second. That game is the weirdest fucking game that I've ever played, but it is so fun and so funny. All you have to do is hit X. That is all you have to do. You just have to tap X. You have to tap a jar of mayo constantly. Just tapping the jar of mayo. And as you tap the jar of mayo, it evolves. And it evolves into multiple different things. And it gives you a story. It's got some like weird jazz synth like background music. And you just tap a jar of mayo. And that's it. And once you tap it, like I think it's like 100,000 times, you get the platinum. That's it. That's all you do. You just tap a jar of mayo. And that's the video game. And it sounds fucking stupid, but if you play it, you'll enjoy yourself. I enjoyed myself both times. There's two games. They both do the same thing. You just tap a jar of mayo. And it's wonderful. I laughed so hard and I got 2 platinums out of it. And it took me, I would say like 2 hours. Like it was an hour a game. It took time, but it was entertaining and it was just really fun. So if you haven't already, check out My Name Is Mayo. Suicide Guy 1 and 2. It's a fucked concept. You're a guy killing himself, but they're in drastic, challenging ways. And I don't remember what the story's about, but I remember the story being really good and the puzzles on how to finally commit the deed is really fun. That sounds so fucking bad. But again, weird games that I wouldn't have played otherwise because of what it looks like, but I enjoyed playing. Octodad. Octodad was a sick game. It's incredibly hard, but it's really fun to play. I have yet to complete and platinum it. I don't even know if there's a platinum for it, but it's hard. It's very difficult, but super funny. You're a dad who's an octopus, and all the challenges that come along with having tentacles instead of phalanges. What is it? I Am Bread. That one's really fucking challenging. I don't think I'll ever be able to platinum that game, but it's super fun and just weird. Highly recommend that. And then, of course, everyone knows this game. Everyone's seen people play this game. Jacksepticeye, PewDiePie, all of them. It's specifically Jacksepticeye. They played this. Goat Simulator. I've platinumed that game. I've yet to do all of the DLCs. There's so many. But it's really, really fun. It was really fun to do that game because one, it was challenging, but also it's fucking weird. You're a goat and you're running around. But it was entertaining. It was a lot of fun. But along with that, the games that I would have never tried, but because I did, I found games that I think about all the time and have made me cry multiple times. And I'm about to list those off. And I highly recommend these games to play because they were pleasantly surprising and super, super fun. And just also had a great story. The Spectrum Retreat. It's like Portal, but with colors, basically. And you're in this facility and there's these clones and it's creepy as fuck, but also a great story, very challenging puzzle-wise and just spooky. And I really liked it. It was a great game. Unraveled 1 and 2 are both really, really good. The stories are awesome. The puzzles are awesome. And just the look and feel of the game is just gorgeous. You're little people made of yarn and you're running through the woods and using it to swing from branch to branch and get through puzzles and not get wet and stuff. It's a beautiful game. And the story is, especially the first one, is just gorgeous. And I loved it. Then we have The Old Man's Journey, which is such a heartwarming game about an old man journeying through the last bit of his life. And it made me cry, not gonna lie. Such a good game. I highly recommend it. something that I recommended to Crimson, the Crimson, shout out to him, my boy on Twitch, um, is The Witness. The Witness is an island puzzle game. You're on an island and there's these puzzles all around. You have to go and complete them, and you unlock different things on the island, and it's just very insightful. You find tapes around the area that give you like lectures on thought and theories of life and things around you. It's a very meditative game. It's in my eyes. I played that for a while, and it was interesting. I really enjoyed the game. I highly recommend that one. The Vanishing of Ethan Carter. This one is like a detective game. It's really spooky, but the story is really awesome, and I highly recommend playing it. It's shorter. If you like mystery thriller type esque things, I highly recommend it. It was a very pleasant surprise. I highly recommend that one. Jazz Punk, that one is super funny. If you want a funny game, I highly recommend that. It's an indie game. You're like a spy, kind of. It's weird. The whole game is fucking weird. It's not supposed to make sense, but I highly recommend that one as well. The Grow Home series, Grow Home and Grow Home. I think it's like Grow Home and Grow Home Now, or I forget what it is. It's like the first and second one. You climb plants. You're a little robot who climbs plants with a jetpack, and it's simplistic. It's a simplistic platformer with a lot of collectible options, and it's super fun. I recommend that one as well. I just recommended a shit ton, and I said recommend a lot, but I do recommend them. All of those weird ones and all of these like indie games, I highly recommend. I enjoyed them a lot. But no, from trophy hunting, I found out that I loved puzzle games and I loved indie games, and I wouldn't have found that out if it wasn't for trophy hunting, because the games that I played were like Assassin's Creed, Skyrim, Borderlands, basically like adventure open world stuff. And I didn't look at indie games because I was just like, oh, they're shorter. I don't really want to play that one. It's something that's going to keep me stimulated for a long time. But I've had better experiences with indie and puzzle games because of what I enjoy them, but also the story. It blows me away, and normally I cry, and I love that. It makes me feel something, and I like that. But if it wasn't for trophy hunting, I would have never played any of those games that I just listed. And I have that to thank for, because a lot of those are some of my favorite games. And because they're shorter, I go back and replay them because they're fun, you know? I love them so very much. But yeah, no, I've been playing Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy. It's new. And it made me think of just like video games and how far they've come. And Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy has an amazing story. I have yet to finish it, so I can't imagine how it's going to end. I'm really excited. The gameplay, the fighting, like the combat sequences, and the story, and the way the attention to detail and little things that are shout outs to just the whole MCU and like all the comic book fans and stuff is just so well done. And since I'm a movie buff and I love Marvel, I'm eating it up. I'm just eating it up like chocolate pudding, baby. Just eating it up like with like a spoon in a bowl full of applesauce, and I'm slurping it down with some cinnamon and nutmeg, baby. So good. It's such a good game. I highly recommend anyone to play it. If you like Marvel and you like combat and like adventure games, I highly recommend it. It's really fun. And a lot of people have been saying how much they've been enjoying watching me play because I'm like a 10-year-old kid. And it's true. I act like a 10-year-old kid when I'm playing that game because I feel like the Star-Lord. I feel like Peter Quill. I feel like the Star-Lord. I am the Lord of the Stars. I got elemental guns, and I'm blasting aliens, and I'm a badass bitch with a jacket. But I'm just pleasantly surprised with what they did with the game, and I'm excited to see how it ends. But yeah, I hope everyone had a fantastic Halloween this past weekend. I hope you guys ate lots of candy and enjoyed some time with friends. And I hope you were all safe. Let me know what your favorite games were growing up. I would love to hear what kind of games you grew up on, like the top 3 that you remember playing over and over and over again, and like really influenced you, or even not influenced you, but just like that was what you started with, and that's what you remember playing, and also one that stuck with you this entire time, and you think about all the time, or go back and play constantly. Like Ty the Tasmanian Tiger, I continue to play, even though it's really bad. It's really bad, but it's also really good, you know. But yeah, let me know on Twitter. Tweet at me. Hashtag you've been Josh so I can find it easily. Let me know what your favorite games are. And I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. If you enjoy the episode, because I like doing this. This is really fun. I like people tweeting at me because it makes me feel like you guys are appreciating it. If you like the episode, tweet at me, hashtag, or just tweet at me. How about we go with tweet at me, 10-year-old kid energy. 10-year-old kid energy. Yeah. Tweet at me 10-year-old kid energy if you enjoyed the podcast, this episode, and tweet at me also the games that you used to play, because I wanna know what you guys played. You know, it's nostalgic. You know, video games are a huge part of a lot of people's lives, and it's escape that we all love, escape that we all need. But yeah, thank you guys for listening to the podcast. I really appreciate all the support I've been getting on it. Every week is a challenge to find something new to talk about. Not that I'm having a hard time finding things to talk about, but just being like, okay, every week I have to talk for 45 minutes about stuff. You know, it's a good challenge for me to have, and I'm enjoying it thoroughly. And I'm trying to figure out the best way to have guests on, because with audio differences and not having them with you, but doing it over on the line online, the audio can be a little funky, and I don't tend to edit these. They're straight through, like all the way through. The only thing I edit is adding the intro and outro music. So I'm trying to figure that out, but I promise there will be some guests on soon-ish as I work through this. But yeah, love you guys. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope you have a great rest of the week, and I hope to see you on stream. All right, guys. Bye.